Hello and thank you for joining us. You're listening to a We Do Talk with David Jaques. I've had the great good fortune to interview a lot of people on the We Do platform about their careers, their achievements, what they've done, career changes, the vision for their careers. Most of them have been people who are older and more mature in their careers, and today I'm switching gears a little bit and interviewing somebody who is much younger and just still starting out in her career. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about what she's done and what her expectations are. So it's a great pleasure to welcome to the We Do platform Mehaboob Begum, who is joining me today from Sydney in Australia. So afternoon here in California. But Mehaboob, very good morning to you. Welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you, David, and good afternoon to you too.
Mehaboob is a recent graduate from a master's program in information technology. And she's also an entrepreneur, a website developer, and more recently, she has been working as the quality assurance and customer support analyst for GetMee. And I'd love to talk a little bit about GetMee because we have talked about that company in the past. But Mehaboob, I see that you've also did study computer technology and systems technology for your undergraduate degree in India. So has technology always been something you've been very interested in? Did you decide that that would be your career, or did you ever consider going into anything different?
So my first career choice was to go into a MBBS and be a doctor. The backup career that I had in mind was IT because I was so intrigued by computers and the back end workings of applications and stuff. When I was doing my higher education, we had like a specialized computer programs there, so I was much intrigued into it. But yeah, so computer has always been the second choice, but now I feel after going through and completing my course and this journey, I think computer was actually the best choice that had happened, and I'm like pretty much satisfied and everything with my career right now.
Well, good for you. And if that feels right and that's something that you enjoy doing, there's certainly great opportunities in that field. So obviously wish you every success and congratulations on your recent graduation.
Thank you.
One of the things that I'm always interested in is people that migrate to different countries. I'm an immigrant myself in the US. I came here a couple of decades ago to the US from the UK. But I believe you migrated first to Australia for educational purposes. Is that right, or was there something else?
In India, we have a nice education history and we have a nice platform, but this in India is like education is more theoretical than being practical, and so I can get a lot of information out of the course if I study there, but I would not know how to practically implement it, and so I've decided to like study from abroad so that here they are like theoretical plus integration with practical, so I will have more exposure and more understanding of how the system and the technology works, and I will get more exposure to it. So that was the reason that
Yeah.
I decided to like do my masters from here.
And how long have you been in Australia?
So it's been 2.5 years now. I came to Australia in February 2020.
How was that transition for you? India and Australia, very different countries. So I would imagine you must have had some challenges of anytime you go to live in a different country, there's always going to be some transition, but especially as you went right at the beginning of the COVID pandemic. So how has that last couple of years been for you?
When I came to Australia, it was like because I was a bit late into my course when I came here. So the first starting few months, I was more into my studies. Here, the people are. I feel that the people are more friendly and more outgoing and more reachable. And then but COVID hit, so I didn't have much exposure. But now in the past 6 months I have been like going out meeting with groups, and I've joined 2 to 3 communities, and it has been such a great experience to actually sit down with them and talk with them, and them helping me in understanding myself and in developing myself. This all of this like I'm comfortable in doing that only because the culture here is very open and very appreciative and acceptable to others. But also I have had experiences because as you can see I wear a scarf, and so there have been a few I'll say rare few experiences where people actually saw me with a different eye maybe. But yeah, overall it has been great and nice transition for me.
I've always found Australians to be very friendly, very welcoming, and they love their coffee.
They love the coffee. I'm like, I'm not a coffee lover, but almost everybody that I meet is like, They can't work without a coffee, and I'm like, yeah, I cannot work without milk. So I'm like, okay, I can understand some part, but they are like so into
Yeah.
it.
Very much a part of the culture. So, Mehaboob, would you tell us a little bit about some of the jobs that you did when you worked in India before you decided to move to Australia?
I basically worked as customer service representatives in two MNCs. I was doing a part time in one and a full time in other company. Yeah, I actually just done those two jobs, and so they have been very helpful in my understanding because the both of them were with the U.S. clientele. So they have helped me a lot in developing my English and developing my understanding of people in different countries.
And then I know you did your studies initially, and you're currently working for GetMee. And right around a year ago, it was actually September of 2021, I had the great privilege to interview the founder, Bala Thavaraja, and you're actually working for him. So, how did the job at GetMe arrive?
I have to do an internship as part of my course, and I had actually interned with other people. Then I interviewed with Bala, and it was a great experience, and he liked me, and so I started working with them. And based on my work, they decided to give me the full time opportunity, and I've started working with them from May.
Good. Well, congratulations,
Thank you.
your first job in Australia. And would you just remind anybody listening, if they might have heard before, for anybody that hasn't listened to the prior one, tell us a little bit about GetMe. What is the company? What does it do?
So GetMe is a AI powered communication application which is helping people worldwide and helping with their communication and personal development. So this is basically designed to help the people with English as a second language, making them proficient with their English skills and helping them in being confident. As I'm an immigrant, and I said that I had worked in customer service previously, so my English when I came here was comparatively good than my other friends who came from India and who didn't have any experience. So they did not used to talk with anybody else other than the people in the Indian community. So with this app, we are trying to help people so that they can be confident about their skills and they can reach out to people they want to reach out, and they don't have to be more self-conscious or stuff, something like that.
It's a great idea, and when I heard about it a year ago, I felt there's definitely a market for that, and certainly it will help people who need to learn English as a second language to become more proficient and hopefully open up more jobs and opportunities. So, great company that you're working for right now, and I wish you the best with it, of course.
Thank you.
So one of the things I'd like to ask you, we talked a little bit about the pandemic that shut down the world for a brief period of time, and then things started to open up, and much of the world is now completely opened back up again. But in terms of the world of work, and as you're now getting into the world of work in a new country, here in the US and definitely in Europe, everybody is consumed with things like the war in Ukraine, potential for inflation, and potential for recession. And that's one of the things everyone's talking about. But to me, if we are in a recession, and I'm not quite sure that we really are, but where it differs a lot from anything I've ever seen before is that right now there's a big shortage of workers, whether it's retail, whether it's professional. Everybody seems to be hiring right now, and there just seems to be a massive worker shortage. So services are very difficult. Business is really beginning to struggle, and of course it is having that inflationary impact. What is the situation in Australia? Is there a shortage of workers down in Australia right now, or is it different from what we're seeing in the US?
The situation is same here today with there is a big skill shortage here. I'll say almost all the industries are hiring and looking for people, but now they because as Australia had been in lockdown for a long time with and the international borders been closed, there was not much intake of people coming in, and even now the intake is comparatively lesser when compared to how it was 2 years ago. So there is a lot of skill shortage that government is trying, and they have also worked on the international visas for students, the people who are on the work visas and other visas to increase their duration in Australia and provide them with more opportunities to start working to cover the skill shortage.
I've certainly noticed that Australia does have a pretty good history in leveraging immigration to be able to help out alleviate problems. They've done it in the past, and so that's not. I'm not surprised that they're doing this again. But what about in your field in technology? Is there a big shortage? Are jobs becoming more competitive? Are you seeing conditions, wages, and everything increase because there's such a shortage in the technology field?
Right now in Australia, there are many people who are studying in the field of masters in IT and have actually graduated, but due to like there are various reasons that they are like not getting the opportunity to work in different fields, because majority of the roles that found here, I was going through them a few days ago, are in the senior roles, and the people here are like all students which do not have the experience, so the government is now trying to get people with more experience to come in, and the people and the companies in here are helping the existing ones to help them improve their skills as soon so that they can move them to different positions to cover the shortage.
And one of the things that we are definitely trying to develop here at We Do is help platform and sense of community for people that work as freelancers, so they don't have a conventional job in employment. What is the situation both in the technology field and Australia in general? Is that a trend you're seeing down in Australia? Are people moving more into freelance roles and doing their own independent thing rather than looking for employment?
First job that I started when I came to Australia was also in freelancing as website developer. So I see the people are more inclined to freelancing right now, because with freelancing we do not have that much of a work pressure, and they can make a living out of it, and in the meantime they can also work on other things that they are passionate about. The major field that I saw freelancing in was website development, and a few of the new application, the mobile application that are like in the process of building and coming out. Some are working full time, and some are looking for working in their other dreams. Yeah.
And one thing I'd like to ask you, so you're used to working in Australia now. Do you have any insight as to what the freelance market is like in India? And if it's not there, is this something that you could see really taking off in India?
I feel like majority of the people have started up in education field, because in India we were like the people were not provided any government support or anything when there was lockdown. So majority of the teachers and students who were already providing tutorship to people, they have now moved to online, and they are now focusing on people from China and South Korea. Then when it comes to IT, even like as in GetMee, we are working with two different freelancers to help us in our application development. So now the startups are looking out and reaching out to people in India to help them with their with the modifications in the field of IT. There are people with a lot of talents in India. We just needed the courage and the platform to go out and meet with people. So now I think freelancing has become a common as a common practice in India.
Yeah, great. I would have expected that is probably likely to be the story. And I know that many people outsource things like customer service and engineering, particularly. There's a good workforce in India, educated and talented people. So if the people can find out that they can actually make a better living for themselves by working independently, then I would think that there could be a really good opportunity for them, and also then for employers not to take a cut out of what they make, and they be able to keep the money that they make themselves. So hopefully be more profitable for everybody.
I feel like freelancing is about you're making money on your talent, and so you are not like not dependent on anybody else. It's like all gets down to yourself, and if I want to be a freelancer, then I have to be confident in my skills and what I'm trying to present to the.
Yeah, great. That's good to hear, and I'm happy that that market is starting out there, and I hope it progresses. So, Mehaboob, before we wrap up here, I'd just really like to ask you what is the vision for your career? So you're really in your first full-time job in Australia. So two questions really. Do you intend staying in Australia? And what type of jobs would you like to see for yourself over the next few years?
My plan right now is actually not to stay in India, because there is a big market in India, and the people in India needs to be a bit more inclined and more developed with technology. And if everybody wants to stay in other country, then India will, like, the home country would not develop. So my plan right now is like I will want to work in almost all few of the different business sectors of a company. So with the startup, I feel like I've got a very better privileged opportunity to work in a startup where I get to learn about different aspects of the business at this early stage in my career. And I hope that this will grow a lot with our company. It's growing a lot. So with the company, I think I'll get a lot more understanding of how to start a business and how to like make connections with other people and develop with it. And then I have a few ideas that I want to work in India. And so probably after the tenure, like after I get a bit of experience with my and the end of my visa, I'll probably go back to India and start my business there.
Good for you. So take the education and go back and use that knowledge and help build that and help people back in India. That's a great thing to do. Whatever you decide, and I'm sure that with your recent qualifications and the experience you're getting, it's going to put you in a great position. You'll have many opportunities. I always say you never know what's around the next corner. Things can happen, opportunities can present themselves that you don't expect today. So you never know where you might go. But anyway, I would love to stay in touch and find out what happens with you. And at this stage, just wish you every success for the work at GetMee and then whatever you decide to do beyond that.
Sure, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you again for sharing your thoughts with me today. And thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. And please feel free to leave your comments below and subscribe to our channel. We upload a new talk every week, and I'll see you next time. We upload a We Do Talk every week. So if you enjoyed this one, please subscribe and leave your comments below.